Like I
I'm
shown you
always
that I shown you that where that the light bulb thing, how it was wirelessly lit. Did I show you that little video?
no, what? How did wirelessly get lit?
Yeah, it was like the Tesla thing, but he couldn't do it on a big scale. He could do it on a small scale.
But what's weird is like, why didn't we double down on these technologies that like can kind of like, it's like, hey man, looks like it's kind of working. Let's work towards that.
Yeah,
Because
but he couldn't do it on a big scale. That's what I was saying.
but
Yeah.
for sure, right, no. So, but it's like it's just him working on it. But if you're like, hey, this would actually be better for society en masse if we just went in this direction. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Then like put your best scientists on that. Like we have more unison for war than we do for like development of our cities. Like you know what I mean? Like we're so willing to like
Well, I mean,
work together
I
for
think
like
we mentioned that
atom.
before. I think the development comes through the war too, right?
Yeah, internet and stuff like that,
Yeah, yeah.
and microwaves. But like, if you watch the Christopher Nolan movie,
Mm-hmm.
the Oppenheimer, you're like, wow, you guys like you put your best scientists on this. It's like an arms race trying to figure out who makes the atom bomb. But it's like, what if you had that level, but on like, let's just fix the problems that are here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're not moving with as much urgency towards these problems and we're more focused on like destructive capabilities because the one who has the biggest stick rules the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I feel like that's so flipped in society, you know? Because like, do you hear about the guy who like made the water car? Allegedly, he made like a car that's made out of water, and then like he was killed. And you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Or the most famous example is like hemp paper and the paper mill, and the guy who
Yeah, yeah,
owned the
yeah.
paper mill, right, like started spreading stories to get that thing illegal. Because like they're talking about paper and how trees are like it takes like hundreds of years to build up a tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you use like hemp, that like it becomes like 4 feet in like 90 days or something. And you could use that for paper and it's more durable, but it's like we didn't move down that path because of like,
Sure.
capitalistic reasons.
Yeah.
You're just like, bro, let's just go with these good solutions, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what like do you think that that's where we're headed in the future? Because like internet, so like because Elon did that too, right? He open sourced or he like put out his schematics for the battery or something for
Yeah.
free,
I don't know which one it was, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, dude, why don't we just all do that, man?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we all like living in terribleness? I don't know. Like, what do you think? Or do you think it's just like that's so unachievable? That's a weird utopia. But it just seems like, hey, man, like you kind of got a solution there. Let's just put more resources into that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's well, that's the push for these green energy things, right? But or green solutions.
Yeah, I guess. But like,
You're
it's
going
just
to be facing with both sides, right? You can push for the green solutions, but you also have to deal with the industries that are already exist. That
like the capitalism,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's like, damn, is that really the enemy? Because like when
I
you're
don't think
growing
it's
up,
necessarily enemy.
yeah,
Is pushing for both sides. We don't know. Like you can't go directly green right now. We already talked about it, right? There's-
for sure, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. It's like the push on both sides, but the money. It's all about it's money, right?
But that's a
Yeah.
capitalistic thing, right? So it's like, oh
Yeah, but
man, is
like,
that
how
the
do you? No,
problem?
no, I understand that, but it's like where do you tax things? Because a lot of these things are going to come from government incentives. They're not just going to be done through um, altruistic means. It's
Right, yeah, okay,
hard
that's
to do
fair.
that.
But what I'm saying is like, why don't we just move towards the altruism? It just seems so obvious, you know?
But that's where the push. That's only that the government can really do, unless there's actual like individual business people that have good motives and things like that. But you're surrounded by it's 8 billion people, right? So
Yeah, true. And then
that's the ideas
there's
you're
like
clashing with. Yeah.
you're also like first world, third world, so you're
There's different
like,
things that people need, yeah, and like the issues you're dealing with at the time. It's not like one, it's not like a kumbaya world, right? So you
yeah,
have hurricanes to deal with. You have to fund those relief programs. Like there's money allocated for certain things, but there's only a certain amount of money, right?
yeah. But like, what if
But if you
I'm
think
just trying
about
to,
it, I
yeah.
get it. Yeah, but if you do think about it, we're much better off we were today than even 30, 40 years ago.
No, totally. I'm just wondering, like, if you look at the trend line for like all of this stuff, is that where we're headed in the future? Like, if you jump, 300 years in the future, are we in like a utopic state where
I
we're
think so.
everything's solved?
I think so. I don't know about everything's solved. I don't know if you have to have an equal break playground for that kind of thing. And
Like you,
same
yeah.
ideals, right? Same ideals. I don't know if that necessarily works out.
No, totally. But you see like two different types of movies, right? You see like the dystopian future,
Yeah, yeah.
and then which is always like a Western concept. But if you look at like anime and stuff, that's why I love cyberpunk anime.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, no, that's not a dystopian future. That's like we're working with the technology here.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, and I feel like I'm more gravitated towards the cyberpunk future of it all versus the dystopian future. Because like with the Optimus, right? People are like, oh my god, it's iRobot, and I'm like,
Sure.
true, but if you look at um, you know, Ghost in the Shell, you're like, that looks like a cool world. You look at uh, freaking Gundam Wing, you look at Cowboy Bebop, you're like, that's a really cool world I want to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like maybe it's just like perspective, like our maybe the West is just living in fear. You know what I mean? Like, why is Eastern perspective of technology like a beautiful thing? You're like, dude, that looks sick. But
Mm-hmm.
then if you see like the West is like it's some AI downfall, like Black Mirror and what was that
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're just
Sure,
like,
sure,
bro,
sure.
I don't
Yeah.
want to live like that. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, but that's like one version of reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.